Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. This is the playthrough of Founders of Gloomhaven, which is currently on Kickstarter as of this recording and release. This is part 6 of our playthrough, and I'm really excited to see if I can survive and not lose. So I'm hoping to be able to deliver all the resources I need to all the buildings which still require them, based and denoted by the gray token on each of the following 4 prestige buildings. As you can see, we've got one on the Merchant's Guild. We need the Temple of the Great Oak, the University, and all the way over here in the Brown Door. So if we can satisfy those 4, then we're golden. All right, so let's get to it, because we got a lot of work to do. Although we have quite a bit of money, some lasting influence, we have a meeple to use, and I'm thinking about building another house to potentially give me some more. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is, because I've got a little bit of a plan in my mind as to how I can accomplish this, and I'm hoping it will work. So moving forward, what we're going to do is I'm going to use my very first meeple, and before I do that, I actually have to use a card as a follow action to be able to even use my meeple, and it's called a prestige building action, or in this case, it would only be prestige building action if it was one of these. I'm actually using it for its racial ability, which would be this one here. So I have to decide which card is the most worthwhile to get rid of at this point. I think keeping the Recruit Advisor at no cost is pretty awesome. If I do that, I would end up losing this card. This one says Recruit 2 Advisors at once. That's actually probably more useful. So I'm going to go for this one right now. I'm going to use this one as my face down follow action, because I actually have a plan. Well, let me see here. Recruit an Advisor and gain 1 fleeting influence. Yeah, I kind of want to keep that because I want to get that fleeting influence. So I'm going to put this one face down and use a follow action to use my racial ability. My racial ability allows me to build up to 4 road tiles connected to a stone resource tile. My stone resource tile is very central and has really connections to everywhere across the bridge to section over here, as well as within this section. But I want to build some roads in a way that's going to help me as I continue to try to build these resources out. So I'm going to take 4 road tokens. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is when I go ahead and want to build things in here for more resources, I can't have them adjacent to another owned building. So over here, I'd be fine to build advanced resources and or just regular tier 1 resources, but nothing can be adjacent here to this guy because this is a resource. So it makes sense to build a road in a way in which we kind of just use this to get us to this end, which also gives us options for building later. So if I do something like this, that allows me to build in any direction over here, and I'm connected. It also kind of segregates 2 sections for potential advanced buildings and keeps things separated so we don't break the rules. So that's what I do for that move. The next thing I need to focus on, and really the prime thing I need to do, is go for the cloth. The reason I want cloth right away first is mainly because with the cloth, well, actually maybe buying the house, we'll think about the house first, but the cloth is the first delivery, or I should say resource, that we actually need to deliver is the most important. The reason is if I can deliver a cloth to the Temple of the Great Oak, I could potentially also deliver to the Brown Door, as long as the linkages make sense. So that would be amazing, because if I can do that, then I satisfy 2 of the 4, and that's really big. So that's my main focus first. Then we'll go, and of course, we can't forget I've also got a cloth over here, so that makes it 3 satisfied buildings. And technically, this one doesn't need to be delivered this turn, but it would just resolve it, and I wouldn't have to worry about it next turn, which is a huge plus. Going into, I guess that would be the 7th round. So let's go ahead and build a house first. We've got tons of money, so I'm going to use the construct card to build a personal building at -1 cost. This is going to be used for its main action, and I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 coins of my massive treasure, and we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a new house, and we're going to place it. Let's see, have I moved these somewhere else? Because I only have 2 bridges here. Where have I put my houses? Did I move them somewhere else? I don't see them. Oh, of course, I'm blind, of course. Sorry, guys, I forgot they're under my meeple. So here we go, and we also get access to a meeple as well, and what it says right here is I'll get a fleeting influence at the end of the round when I collect income, not right now. So this house right here I can build, and of course, now that I've segregated things in a good way, I can actually build this house over there somewhere. So the question is just, where do I actually really want to put it? And it needs to be connected, so I want to be a little bit careful. I'll likely, there's nowhere else. If I want it to be connected, it has to be in section 2 somewhere. So probably, it's a little bit rough, but I'll do something like this Or maybe I'll tuck it in like that. I guess it doesn't matter. So I'll have it here. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Houses have to be built on a forested area. So it has to be a green area. So with that in mind, my roads are going to have to fundamentally change. I'm going to have to do this so I can build my house like something like this, like over here. So that makes more sense in terms of correct rule placement. So now I have a house over here that's going to give me a fleeting influence at the end of the turn, so that's great, as well as I've opened up a meeple for use later, and you guys know what I'm probably going to be using that one for, and it's going to be for this really handy return up to 3 discarded cards, except income to your hand, so I can get 3 of these discarded cards back into my hand. That's awesome, and it says return up to, so I can choose. It's not even random, so it's a very, very powerful ability at University. I'm going to be using that to my advantage to try to get the most of this turn. So now that we've placed all that, we're good to go. We've now got 2 houses, and you got to make sure they're on different sections. You can never have 2 houses in the same section. Our city's starting to sprawl out into the map. You can see how solo play actually starts to bridge very quickly into the other areas. So the next focus on is to talk about what we need in a building guide in order to get to where we need to get this silk. So in order to get this cloth or silk, we need the calf or cow, I guess, cattle kind of resource. We do have that right here, so that's awesome. We need the gear. We don't have that. So in order to get the gear, it's actually a second tier resource from what I'm understanding. And because of that, being a second, it's going to require the anvil and the writing resource. I have the writing as I placed it here last turn, so that's a plus, but I need to make a basic resource. So I'm going to use my trade card here, which will allow me to put the resource we need into play, which is this anvil resource. And we're going to put this in. I guess this could be considered iron or something along those lines. I'm not too familiar with the resource terminology, so pardon me for that. But this is going to end up going into play, and of course it's going to cost, typically, it would cost me, well, I guess it depends on the placement, actually, of where we end up building it. We're allowed to put these next to prestige buildings, but I'm going to go ahead and put it, and again, it can't be next to another building. Let me see here. And another thing that's a little bit interesting I've just noticed about this one, and I don't know if this is a mistake on the card itself or not, so maybe this is something that Isaac can clarify for me, but I'm noticing there's circles on all of these, but not on the iron. I'm noticing there's no circle there. So because of that, I'm wondering, do I actually, this is a resource, is there supposed to be a circle? Am I supposed to claim this? That's something I'm going to need to clear up with Isaac to ensure that I'm doing that correctly, because it looks like this is the only one of the little squares that don't have a circle, so it almost makes me think I can't claim this as a resource, but I am, in essence, building it as a tier 1 resource, so I'd assume I can, and it's just a mistake in the printing. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is a legitimate resource I'm creating, so I'm going to go ahead and put it here. Now I can't do that, actually, because it needs to be connected to a road in order to make it back. And it can't, and the resource can never push its resources through buildings, so this would be an invalid place to put it. So I can go ahead and maybe tuck it in like this. This would be a valid placement. And that's fine because it keeps it along the main trek, which you can get everywhere in the city, which is awesome. So now that that's done, we put it in the central area. And by putting it in the central area, we're going to have to pay our costs of 3. It's actually a very expensive one. So we put it in red. It would have been 1. White is 2. 3 for green, or which is forested or central. So it's gonna be kind of expensive, but we have the money for it, so we'll use it in order to get that thing right there. So we've used that card now. Now the next thing we need to do is talk about the advanced. We were going for the gear. That was the whole purpose of building that anvil. So now we need the advanced resource. We need that gear. So in order to get this guy into play, we're going to need to not only pay 4 to get it, but we're going to have to play a card that allows us to do so. So we're going to play our upgrade card. And this card here is going to give us not only another road resource, but will also give us access to the advanced resource we need. So we're going to pay 4 of our coins. Thank goodness we have a lot of money. And this is now in our hands, and we do get a claim token on it. Now, I didn't actually put a claim token, sorry, on this one, but I'm assuming it should have a circle like I mentioned, so that would actually boost our income. And as of right now, by this going into play, I'm going to place this right here, which is connected to everything else. The one thing you have to make sure when you put these advanced resources down is that the prerequisite resources are still connected. And I know this is my main linkage where everything funnels back into, so I don't have to worry about that. All roads connect. I've built a pretty decently structurally sound road kind of throughout the thing, so everything touches, so I should be valid there. Now we take a claim token, we're going to drop it on here as we paid our 4, and that is now active and gives me another income. So now we're up to 13. So that's pretty awesome. So we've got lots of income coming in, and that actually, with that gear right there, that is now going to give us the ability on the next one to go to the next level. And this is going to be one of the biggest ones in the game. This guy right here, which is the cloth resource. It's a monster. It's 6 coins to purchase. We're going to need all the prerequisites for it, which include the calf or the cattle and the gear, which we both have. So we're going to have to be able to afford that. Now, again, I've lost the card that I require to play it. So this is where I'm going to have to do a little bit of interesting. Ooh, this is very tough. So maybe at this point, what I'm going to do is use my meeple. I think would make the most sense. Yes, it would be a perfect time. I'm going to use my meeple to actually put this on return up to 3 discarded cards into your hand. I'm going to take upgrade, trade, and construct back into my hand, which will give me the ability to start doing some more building as I need it, which is great. But I need to focus mainly on making some money, because in the end, when I go ahead and try to do a upgrade action, which is to get the next advanced resource I want to play, which is this guy we just talked about, which is the cloth one, I need to pay 6 for this guy because it's way more expensive than the norm. And I've only got 3 coins right now, so that presents a little bit of a problem. And we've used both of our meeples, so there's nothing else we can do there. The only other option is to start discarding 3 cards to get 3 coins to get this cloth into play. So that makes things kind of fun. So we don't want to get rid of the trade, because the trade allows us to get, well, I guess it depends on coins in the end, really, for that one. The recruiting of, okay, so I'm not planning on recruiting any advisor on this one. So let's think about this. If I end up satisfying the cloth requirement, I will satisfy this building, this building, this building, and these 2 will be left. And it's going to increase this influence by 3, which is going to give us 5 lasting influence. And for every one that I don't clear, it's going to be 5. I'm not going to have that kind of lasting influence on me. That's insanity. Yikes. Let's see. Let's see. Build it. Now, if I talk about looking at my advisors to see there's something in here that could help me. Build an advanced resource building and 2 connected roads. That's not that great. Build an advanced resource building, then gain 2 tier 2 or 3 tier 3 fleeting influence. Oh, that would be really good. The driver would be really good. And I do have the cattle now, so I could actually get this one. It would give me lots of influence, but that's not really going to help me. It's not going to help me build what I need to build. Shoot. Okay, so I need this. There's no other way to go about this. I'm going to have to go ahead now, and I think, honestly, now that I'm thinking about this, that's my only option, is to go for this, as it satisfies 3 of the different buildings. It'd be silly of me not to do this. I have to, because regardless, 2 of them are going to cost me influence at the end of the game, which I don't have a lot of, unless I wait on this for the next turn. And not complete any resources this turn, which would be really expensive. If I decide not to deliver any resources this turn and just get close to delivering all the resources, then yikes. Then essentially what would happen is I'd end up having all these cubes to pay for at 2 lasting. So I need 2 lasting, 2 lasting, 2 lasting, 2 lasting. I need 8 to survive this round. I have 2. I'd have to make 6. So in other words, I'd have to recruit like 2 advisors, which I could do with the Taskmaster. That would give me 2 advisors, meaning 2 lasting influence. That means I'm halfway there. I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, which would give me, and I could get rid of 4 of them to give me 4 fleeting influence. Ooh, maybe that's actually not bad a strategy. It's a little bit sketchy. You know what? I like it. I like it. Let's risk it. Okay, here's my thought. We're going to do a trade action. So this trade action here is going to allow me to use my money to purchase another resource we need for something else. So later on, we know we need the book or we need the city hall. Is one of those a regular low-level entry and resource or no? No, it's not. So I can't use the trade. I'll just use the upgrade. Do we have an upgrade that's in here for the book? Yes, the book is right here. So it costs 4. So I'm very close. I think I can do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try my hardest to make this work. Okay, so we've got the book. I need 4. I need to get rid of 1 more card. And at the end of the day, if I get rid of 1 card, this will give me, by getting rid of this card, it gives me 2 lasting, which gives me 4 lasting total. Then I get rid of this for fleeting, and I still, yes, and with my houses I get some fleeting. I can actually make this work. So let's take the recruit action, and I'm going to use this face down as a follow action, and I'm going to, have I used my upgrade action yet? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. When I pulled these cards back in my hand, I haven't used my upgrade action yet. So I'm going to flip this one over and use it for a follow. And it's going to give me a coin. So now I have 4 coins. Then I'm going, oh, sorry, it's not upgrade that I wanted to use this for. Upgrade's what I wanted to use for this. My mistake. I wanted to, yes, so I do have to burn a card. So I'm burning this card to follow. Use a follow action to get the coin. Now I'm using the upgrade to pay the 4 in order to get this into play. So this is now going to go into play. I just have to find a spot to put it. Let's put this guy, it needs to be connected to roads in order to deliver later. So maybe like this. So we'll put it like that. And so I'm going to take this claim token and put it on there. That's going to bump my income up to 14. So now the book has been resolved. Now automatically that book would go through the chain of fun. And let me just make sure I've satisfied everything. Yeah, I've got both of those resources. So that works out. I've got the corn or the food resource and this. They're both tying in. So here's the food funneling through, and here's the writing funneling through. So then this book one goes all the way to the university. So that satisfies that right away, meaning I get 6 points, and I took off the neutral claim token. So we jump this to 51. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this face up to recruit 2 advisors at once. Oh, I don't have any money. That's going to be a problem. No, I don't need to do that. I don't need to recruit advisors anymore. I'm going to actually, now that I've satisfied that, I'm going to only end up needing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh shoot, I've completed a delivery. So by completing a delivery, I've essentially ticked up the amount that I need to pay now. Ouch, that's painful. So now on the remaining ones, I'm going to need 3 lasting, 3 lasting, 3 lasting. I've got 2, and I can, oh no, I got 2, and I can get a lasting and a lasting. So that would be 4. Oh man, I'm in trouble. I don't know if there's any way I can do this. I think I might have just found the robe. I think I might have just run into into an issue. The only thing I can do is take back what I just did with this thing and not deliver the resource. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because I'd rather not die right there. So I'm going to reverse that, put this back. We're going to take this guy off. I'm going to get 4 back into my hand. So this cube goes back. My income goes down. I get 4 coins back into my hand. 2, 3, 4. This is not resolved because I didn't deliver it, so it's still there. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, what are my options? And I used an upgrade card to do what I just did, so I still have this card now available to me. Yikes, what do I do? Okay, now I just got to focus on getting as much lasting influence as possible, so I can use this for advisors instead. So I'm going to use Taskmaster for recruit 2 advisors at once. That's going to let me get 2 at the same time. By going ahead and doing so, I'm going to get myself some influence, I hope. So the best one probably is, I'm going to go for pair. I'm going to spend 1 for pair, and I'm going to spend 1 for 2 for driver, and that'll keep me with 1 coin in my hand. So when I do this, I spend 3 because it denotes up there. I get both of these cards. They both go into my hand right now. This whole thing shuffles down. I spit out 2 more cards. You'll notice that the cost or the point values are starting to go up on them. These ones are still point values of 0, so I don't get any points off them. That's what that denotes. Those little pluses are for points. And that just means you get a lasting influence. And right now, because I recruited advisors, I get 2 lasting influence for the advisors I just recruited, which is great. And I've got all kinds of cards in my hand, but I've got to remember in the end, I'm going to need 2, 4, 6, 8. So at this point, I'm going to burn pretty much everything in my hand, basically. Yeah, I'm going to burn everything in my hand. So I'm going to do everything for influence. I'm just going to dump every single card for influence. So that's what I got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for follow actions. Is that right? 5, 1, 2, no, sorry, 6. 6 follow actions for fleeting influence, which I'm going to end up using anyway in this next round to keep myself from losing. So there's your 6. Boom. Okay, and all of my hand is completely depleted. So this is now the end of the 6. We're gonna go ahead and do our collecting income. So our income now is at 13. So I'm gonna get 13 coins. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 14 total. That's quite a bit of coins. Now we're gonna go ahead and take fleeting influence for each house. So we get 2 more fleeting influence. We got lots of influence, which is what I was trying to keep myself from losing. So now we're going to check for claim tokens. We've got a whole bunch. So we're going to have to pay the cost because we haven't actually successfully delivered any of these. They're still at the base cost of 2 or 4 influence total, essentially. So it's going to be, we're going to have to get, it'll end up being 2 lasting, 2 lasting, 2 lasting, 2 lasting. So that's, it'll be 4 influence to satisfy this guy. It'll be 2 lasting to satisfy this guy, 2 lasting to satisfy this guy, and then 4 lasting to satisfy, oh my gosh, I had just enough. That's insane. Okay, so magically somehow I was able to pay for all that. Literally just exactly what I needed. So I don't have a single influence remaining. So that's the end of that, and I didn't lose yet, so that's good. And then now what's going to happen is we're going to build our prestige building, but I ran out of money, so I have to take this one, which sucks because I have no influence. So the soldier's garrison is going to come into play, and the soldier's garrison looks a little bit like this square tile here. So it's going to come in with a neutral claim token on it unless I can satisfy the rock requirement. So I'm going to probably put this guy. Let's stick him here. I'm going to stick him there for now. Now by being there, the rock is going to automatically connect. So I'm going to get 4 points for the rock delivering. I can tick myself up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that's pretty much it. Now I just need to put neutral claim tokens out. So guys, I think at this point I'll stop the video. For anything that I haven't reset, I will be doing so in the next video. Every single prestige building has a neutral claim token on it. This is going to be a wild, wild ending in the last round to see whether I can make this all work at the same time. It's going to be crazy. Hope you'll join me. Hope you're enjoying it. See you in the next one. Keep on rolling solo.